Hi, I'm Jacqueline Tischer, and this is my beautiful daughter,
Victoria.
and we are Tyson's family. This is a long story, but Tyson is part of our family because I would say years ago, well, actually it started with Acacia. Acacia, our oldest daughter, was born with spina bifida and hydrocephalus and really introduced, me into the world of having a child with special needs. I also worked in the hospital as a neonatal and pediatric ICU nurse and loved children. So had more children after Acacia, then Victoria came along, and we called her Victoria Loren, which means victory, victory, because we had a healthy baby. And Acacia had spent the first year of her life in the hospital, so that was our norm. But before that, when Victoria was a baby, there was children living in the hospital, and we started fostering as a family and being foster parents. And so Tyson is one of the little boys that we chose. Prior to him, we had Jasmine, who she lived with us just a month and passed away just after her second birthday. We had Adam, we had Hope, which started Hope's Home, and then Tyson. And Tyson, I said no to. I said no to taking him home because I had lost so many kids already. I was just scared of losing him, falling in love with him and losing him. To be honest, I didn't think, I was like, I don't know if I can do that again. We had lost two babies at birth. So I was up to 4 children by then that we had lost. And they didn't know. They said to us, we don't know if he'll live or not, because he had multiple brain injuries. So I was like, I don't think I can do that again. Nope, my heart can't handle that. Yeah, we brought him home and he was terrified. He didn't sit up. He was completely tube fed. He did not smile. He did not respond. He didn't say anything. He just stared at you with very, no trust at all. Yeah, he was a very sad, broken little boy.
I remember when Tyson came home, I was delighted to have another baby brother. I was already obsessed with my brother Isaac, and so having a second brother was like the biggest joy. I didn't know where he came from, but he was there and he was the best. And I remember one of the first times he smiled was when we lived near a park and we had him in the little baby swing and had him swinging back and forth, and just I don't know what it was, but the relief and the grin and the laughing was just so nice to know, like, we're here, we'll catch you. And I think I'm thinking of it now. As a kid, I didn't recognize that. I didn't know, right? But seeing his joy was just really exciting because, yeah, he came home and he didn't smile very much. He had struggled. He had been through major struggles that at that age I don't understand, but that profound sadness, I sensed it.
I remember too when Tyson, when we first, we chose him. And when we took him home, I remember going down to the farm, and they were like, what have you done? Because by then we had lost Jasmine and Hope, and we had to give up Adam. And they were like, what are you thinking? Because he did not smile at that time. He was very, like I said, he didn't trust anybody, and just sitting in a wheelchair and very low tone and could hardly hold his head up, and he was 3. He was never supposed to sit up, never.
That's what the doctor said.
He was never, he won't sit, eat,
talk.
he won't talk,
Nothing.
he'll never walk. You'll have to take care of him forever. And I was like, okay, we're gonna. And when I see him now, he's a miracle. And I think he's a miracle of love.
Mm-hmm. He made it, he had a rough start, but I know. And yeah, definitely love. I mean, I think what's cool, what I think for you, Mom, and just our family, it was never fear did not drive Tyson's upbringing or our upbringing. As a kid, they said he's so fragile. He's so sick. He's so fragile, all these things. He'd be out there lying in the grass getting mosquito bites like any other kid, not being afraid of his needs and his diagnosis. And I see that in his supports. They're not afraid of, okay, he uses a wheelchair. Okay, he's got a G-tube. It's like, oh yeah, get the tube, Tyson, let's go. No, I don't want, come on, we gotta get your water in. Oh, okay. It's not like a scary thing. And so he was never raised in a fearful environment, but he came from a pretty scary place. And I don't know, I just don't see the fear like that, like he came from. I was thinking about this when he moved in. My biggest worry is people wouldn't understand what he's saying because he has his own language. He has his own lexicon of words. And my biggest worry when he moved into his home was people wouldn't know. And so I took a couple hours to write up a Tyson's dictionary, and I wrote this like huge dictionary, and you could ask his team leader about it, because I said, when he does this, it means this, or when he says this, it means this. And it was just so important to me that he was understood. And I knew it would be hard for him. The biggest barrier for Tyson is communication. And as a family, feeling like, will anyone understand him the way we do? Will anybody connect with him the way we do? And I've just seen him flourish. I mean, he has friends, not just his support workers, not just family, but at Chippendale Homes. I saw him at the COR Christmas party. He had a friend there and they were dancing and hanging out. Do you know how fulfilling that is to know, like, Tyson's got homies, and it's not just us or people who are paid to be there. Like,
it wasn't about COR's reputation or Michael Lavis or you, Shannon. It was about who are the people that are actually going to be in his house, right? I didn't even let home care come in because, well, how do we know they're going to be good people and how they're going to be kind people and what's happening behind the closed doors and all of that? What was so important was building that relationship. For myself as a mom, reaching out to Michael and starting those conversations early. And I say that to parents all the time because we have children at Hope's Home. You need to start when they're like 10, 11, 12. Start thinking about it, about where's their future, because they can't live with you forever. Like, none of us live forever. And they're gonna get older and we're gonna get older. And what was so hard too is Victoria had to do the transition. She had to do it. I was in the States because Jason was dying. And so she was here with him, and
it was a shit show, but I mean, not in the sense of like, oh, it's every day's hard, but the thought of waking up and not having the lullabies playing at 6 in the morning to wake me up, when it started to sink in and the reality of like, he's gonna be living somewhere different than me, it feels the same way as any sibling moving out, any family member going somewhere else. It's hard. Just thinking like, okay, fine, we're in the same city, but who's gonna be there for you every day? Who's gonna be waking you up? Who's gonna be helping you with more personal things like taking baths and changing out of your jammies every night? I mean, he trusts us fully, but I'm putting myself in his situation thinking that'd be really scary. Those are people you don't know. When he first moved out, for the first probably 3 to 6 months, he wore the same sweater every day. And I don't know if it was a comfort thing. I don't know if it was just comforting to have that exact same sweater he moved out of. I'm not sure. But what I appreciated about COR is they didn't make it a goal that he needs to change every day. Or if he does, you know, the goal is, okay, after the second day, we'll wash it. Or, you know, maybe it started, okay, after the 4th day, now it's the 2nd day. And I would come and help with that and show your supports are here to help you with that, but they're not taking your sweater away. We're not getting rid of it. It's not about that. So these seem really small retelling it, but for him, it was a big deal. But the transition moving out, it sucked because, yeah, it was me. I was at home with T-Dog. COVID had hit. Mom was stuck in the USA. Like she mentioned, my stepfather, Jason, had ALS, and he was going towards palliative. She was with him and the border shut down. It's like every worst nightmare happening at once. When it came time for him to move out, it was pretty terrifying. He was scared packing his stuff up. It freaked me out. Once the room was bare and the posters were put away and the toys were put away, that's when, yeah, there was a lot of tears and a lot of me crying. I'm gonna cry, but like crying because I didn't want him to see and be scared because, you know, we want to be tough for him. And he feels exactly how I feel. And he could see it in my eyes when we were driving into his new house. So it was hard. And it was hard for both of us.
Acacia was 18 when she passed. And the idea of her moving into a home wouldn't have crossed my mind. That was never an option. And I learned a lot from that denial, that place of distrust. I was willing to buy a duplex. I was going to live next to her, even though I worked full time. Like, it was ridiculous. But there was such a fear around, Victoria talked about a fear around trusting somebody to take care of your child. And the vulnerability of my daughter was huge. Like, you're trusting people with a vulnerable, beautiful girl who can't protect herself. And that's when I met Shannon, and probably around the same time, Michael. And Michael was kind of a connection with Hope's Home, like through social services. They connected us that way. So imagining going through that experience and then losing her, it was an eye opener to realize she didn't get that opportunity, but Tyson might now. It's the scariest thing to think that somebody else can, but you know what? Other people can take care of your child, your young adults. They can, and there's great, loving, kind people that can care. And I think the connection to COR, and why I love COR, is the values. They aligned with our values as a family.
The transition of Tyson moving, I was thinking about the first time his CLSD worker met us. And not the first time, but when she started talking about placement, and I was sitting there like, okay, and is it good there? Is it really good? Because I've heard it's good, but are you sure it's good? And like the fear. But thinking back, if I could give us advice like now, I'd be like, it's all right. You know what I mean? He's got so many supports that love him. One thing I wanted to mention is, so when Tyson was set to move out and it was time to pack, I was really stressed because I only have like a little car. And so I thought, how am I going to do this? And I think Molly helped me. Mom was still gone. How am I going to move all Tyson's stuff? This feels like a huge deal. I want to be careful with his things or he will be pissed, obviously. Yeah. So it's a big deal.
Don't break anything.
I wanted to be with him. So when Tyson was all set up and I needed help packing, his team leader, Paige, came. Oh my God, I don't want to cry. I'm going to just start sobbing and ugly crying. Oh my God, I'm trying to say it in one sentence. So you don't have to do all these cuts, me sobbing like a baby.
I love you so much.
So his team leader, Paige, came and she helped me pack everything up. She didn't even know us. Like, she knew how important it was to build a relationship with family, with me, but also with Tyson. I should even say it the other way around. She knew she needed to hang out with Tyson, get to know him, but she didn't have to hang out with me, but she did. And again, it's COVID. We're wearing masks. We're freaking sweating because you have to wear a mask. And it's like, we don't want to get each other sick, but it's like exhausting. But she came, she was lifting boxes into her little blue car. And so at the very beginning, I distinctly remember her just coming in, just saying, it's not a problem. We got you. And like the relief was amazing. So I can't think, oh my God. I can't thank her enough. Yeah.
It takes time to build a relationship and trust. And I think starting that relationship, with COR for Tyson ahead of time, like I said, I had 100% respect and trust for the organization because I knew Michael and I knew people that worked at COR and I understood, gentle teaching and all the things and the stuff. I was like, this will be easy. This is the best. Like whenever we went anywhere, he loved going home. He loved going home. And we go down to Papa's and Grandma's and he'd be like, this is awesome, but home? And I knew that first Christmas or first summer trip after he moved in, and all he wanted, it was in the summer because Bubbles picked him up in Estevan. And all he wanted to do was home. He wanted to go to his home. And we all bawled because I remember Grandma going, he wants to go to his home. He loves it. And she was so happy because she was like, are they being nice to him? Is he being okay? I said, I'm sure they're nice to him. Grandma. He wouldn't want to go there if that's not how he felt.
Exactly.
He would want to come home with us or stay at Papa's. He wanted to go home, and COR is his home. Like, that's his home. He wanted to see his people. He wants to FaceTime them, send them pictures. The whole time he's gone, he talks about home. Yeah. Love heals. Yep. And I believe our family love and the people around us, and it wasn't just our immediate family. Our family's huge because we have so many friends and, staff, and he grew up at Hope's Home, and yeah, love healed him. I see his home as his forever home. Yeah, I wanted him to be in a place where he was loved, accepted, has purpose, and that his, find meaning in his life, that he'd be able to have those experiences, those relationships like you talked about, that are meaningful for him, and that he has security in that. And thank you for honoring families. Thank you for hearing their stories. Every story, every person's a little bit different, depending on the needs, right? And every family's journey is individual. The dynamics are their own, and how they navigate, how they've gotten so far. I think families, and this, parents think, and siblings think nobody can do it like us. Well, no, nobody can. But then we can extend and expand our family, and COR is just an expansion of our family. It's an extension of our love, and that's because we trust you.
We're part of Tyson's life, but he's grown now, and he has so many stories with his supports that I don't even know anymore, and that's amazing to me. Yeah. It's amazing that he's building a life without us there, because that's what you do when you grow up.
And to get to that point now, years later, to go, it's okay. It's okay. He has his life. He's living his best life. I say that to everybody.
And he has multiple circles of goodness, family and supports, and we all cross over with him, and we all care for him in our own unique way, and it's just so cool to see him thriving.
I think the best feeling is that you don't regret it. You think we put so much pressure and guilt on ourselves as parents that we're the only ones that can do all of this, and as family members, and it's such a relief to know that other people can help and other people are willing and love to do this and take care of him. And honestly, Tyson's life, and I'll be honest, and this is not even hard to say anymore, it was probably at the beginning, but he has a better life at COR. We couldn't provide and do all the fun things that they do at COR, and provide that level of a lifestyle, a home, just his activities, everything that he's involved in, going to, even just going to school and being involved in school when we couldn't be.
That's the thing with COR, though, is like, I trust that the people supporting him are not just trained to understand gentle teaching. They don't just sit and learn it, they live it. And I know that because Tyson wears his heart on his sleeve, and I don't have to tell you that because Tyson's telling you with his words and his emotions and withdrawing, and they're going, and then they don't last. Why? Because I know that COR does hire people with a good intention and with the heart to serve people and to live gentle teaching. I think generally in the sector, anybody who supports people fully understands that you can't do this for a paycheck. You do it because you believe and you have the drive for what families need and for what those individuals need. Yeah, people don't last if they don't care. But when Tyson first moved, I was really scared, but then I see that in him. I see that the people who care for him, they bring that circle of care. We're his family, but they're also his family and his supports and caregivers. He has so much.
It's amazing what love will do for a child. It is amazing what